Hey, my name is Reece. Welcome to this video in which I'm going to be talking about why working your 9 to 5 is easy, but working your business is not. And for the people that follow my channel, I mostly talk about the agency space, so that's really what I'm going to be talking about in this video, but it really applies to any business that you're starting yourself. I'm 23 years old, I've been running my own business for 2 years now. I've been out of my 9 to 5, but when I first started, I did have this issue, a lot of the time actually getting up and getting on doing the work. So I'm going to share with you some of the tricks that I learned, some of the ways, tricks, and really just trying to understand why you're in this position in the first place. So there's a little bit of mindset, there's a little bit of practical things that you can do, but without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is ego. Now, when you work a 9 to 5, you represent a business. You represent something that's bigger than just you. But when you work your own business, most people feel like they're actually representing themselves. They feel like, when you work, for me, I was working at a retail job where I was selling tiles, stuff that you put on your walls and your floors. Not very exciting stuff, but working there, I knew that I was representing a massive business with like 100 stores in the UK. Something around, I think they had 150 stores just here in the UK. So if somebody came and they had a bad experience, they're not necessarily having a bad experience from me personally, they're having a bad experience from the business. But when I started my business, I felt like everything was about me. This is the truth. I felt like everything was about me, that when I'm working on my business, I'm representing myself as opposed to representing the business. And what happens is a lot of agency owners, business owners, when they're new to their business, they start acting like it's all about them. And the decisions they make all about them as opposed to making the decisions for their agency. The actions they do, they think I'm doing this for me as opposed to I'm doing it for the agency. I think it's difficult for a lot of people to know that your business is a separate entity. It's not you. It's something separate. You are not the business. The business is not you. You are still separate, right? So once these business owners, these agency owners start making decisions for their agency, i.e., what is best for the agency? Not only does the business actually grow quicker, but it becomes a lot easier to actually work for the agency in the first place. Because you're no longer working for yourself, you are now working for the agency. It becomes a lot better, a lot easier to do the things that you have to do. You have less resistance because you're not saying, oh, I need to do this for me. You're saying this is what the agency needs. The agency needs me to sit down right now and outreach to 10, 20 businesses, grow my social media, record this YouTube video, whatever it may be that's really difficult for you to do. And when you step out of the frame of just being yourself into the frame of you're doing it on representation of the business, things become so much easier. And speaking for experience, when I'm doing things myself, sometimes still it could be a little bit tricky. But the moment that I'm shooting this video, the moment that I'm working with my mentorship students, the moment that I'm speaking with a client about Facebook ads or writing copy, things become so much easier for me because I know it's not about me. It's representing them, or it's representing my business. And if it's representing the business, sure, it's my business, but it's the business. It's not me, myself. So this is the first step. It's just the ego, realizing that you are not the business is not you. Sure, you can be proud about what you build, and you should be proud about what you build. But what you build and who you are two entirely different things. Now let's talk about vision. Because even when people are living through, knowing that they're doing the business and knowing that it's not them, they sometimes don't know why they're doing it. They're like, okay, doing it for the business, cool, Reece, but why am I doing it in the first place? And that's the question that I'm asking you here is, why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you choosing to build the agency, build the business, potentially leave your 9 to 5 if you're not already working full-time? Some of you watching this may already be working full-time on your agency, but some are not, and that's completely fine. But you gotta wonder why you're doing it in the first place. And what I mean by this is, a lot of people, I'll say, hey, well, why are you doing it in the first place? And they say, the freedom. I'm like, okay, get deeper than that. That's a great start. And to be honest, knowing that is a really, really good start. But go deeper. And you want to go 3 to 5 levels deep. You want to say, okay, I want the freedom. Why do I want the freedom? And then break it down step by step until you get down to what the core belief is, the core emotion the core emotional reason to wanting to do these things in the first place. And once you know that, that is what you're after. You're not after the freedom. You're after whatever it is that you felt like may have been missing in your life growing up, or in the life that you've lived so far that you haven't been able to achieve. You know, for myself, I'm going to give the example in a moment, so I'll wait and I'll do that then. But, you know, again, with the money, it's not about the money. There's a deeper reason behind that. Get deep on that reason and think about what that is. Figure out what that is yourself. When you know what the vision is, when you know what you're trying to achieve, when you know what your life looks like, I don't just mean the Lamborghini, I mean the type of life that you're living, the experiences that you're living, the emotions that you're feeling, because you've now achieved the goal that you wanted to achieve for your entire life. Think about that vision. Read it every morning, read it every evening, and when you feel your drive slipping, read that vision over again, and read over your whys. Read over why you're doing this in the first place. Have a list of everything that you want to achieve in your life, and why you want to achieve it. And then whenever you're doing something that's in correlation to achievement of that goal, you read the why, you read the vision, and it becomes about the why and the vision, not about the task. And you know, we'll get onto that in a second also. But when you're doing outreach, don't associate the outreach to making 10K a month. Associate it to achieving the deeper goal. Instead of focusing on the financial goal, focus on the heart's goal. For example, for myself, you know, I absolutely love what I get to do. I'm super grateful about the businesses that I run, the two businesses, my agency, my advertising agency, and my mentorship program. I'm super grateful that I get to do both of these things. But I know that to make the biggest impact possible, I need to build a team. That's just how it is. And for that, I need more money. So it's not about the money itself. It's about the fact that I'll be able to build a team with the money and make an even bigger impact on the world, hit the dreams and targets that I've got set, and be able to achieve the things the vision that I have, and access the whys that I have in my mind. One thing I wanted to quickly tap on here, just to go back quickly, when it comes to freedom or the money, take a look at what the freedom is. So for me, you know, actually let's talk about you. Maybe the reason that you want the freedom, the location freedom, is because growing up, you didn't get to travel much, because maybe you didn't have a lot of money. Maybe the family didn't have a lot of money. You didn't get to travel much. And because you didn't get to travel, because you didn't have money, now you want to travel. Now you want to make the money to be able to travel, to see the nice things, to do the nice things. I eat a lot of food, and I spend a lot of money on food. And I've brought that down to the why, and I know why I do it now. And it's because growing up, I didn't get to eat glamorous food. I was eating chicken nuggets and chips. I was eating pizza. Slightly unhealthy stuff. I mean, there were vegetables here and there. I'm not saying that my parents didn't give me healthy food. But I'm saying that in terms of what we were eating, it wasn't like high quality food. It wasn't steak. It wasn't lobster. It wasn't, you know, these nice things. It was chicken that had been pulled together from all different sources. And it was like processed chicken, and not stuff that I like when I think back about it, you know. And I know that's why I spend so much money on my food, because I didn't get to have these different foods when I was growing up, and now I want to experience it and taste different things. So this is just a little sidestep, you know. It's not about, like, when I look at where I spend my money, I look at why I do it. And when you look at why you want to make money, get deep on that, you know, figure that out. For me, one of the reasons I knew I wanted to work for myself and have time freedom is because growing up, my mum, she was a single parent. She was looking after myself and my older sister. But she was working 2 jobs, so I hardly ever saw her. I was staying with my grandmother most of the time, during the days at least, you know, picking me up from school and me staying at her house until my mum came back in the evening and I went to bed. That was pretty much it, you know. So I hardly saw her, yet she was spending all this time working. I didn't get to see her. Plus, she was hungry because we didn't get enough food. It was like, it was tough. So I think back to that when I think about the money, when I think about the freedom, think about the fact that she was working 2 jobs to look after 2 children and still couldn't actually see them. Barely got to see them. And that's the type of thing that I think about when I look back at my freedom and why I want the freedom, why I want the money. It's because she was working 2 jobs and still didn't have money that she could, you know, buy nice things for herself. She was just focused on her children. And that's something that's super empowering, inspiring for me. So let's move on here, right? So I said focusing on the financial goal. Instead of focusing on the financial goal, focus on the heart's goal. And I already spoke about the building the team aspect, which is super important for me to make a bigger impact on the world. But I'll give you another example, because in January 2023, it's about 5 months from now, I'm going to be going to South Africa. I'm going to be staying there for about 3 months. And I would love to fly business and first class and stay in a beautiful, beautiful Airbnb. And with how much I'm making right now, truth is I can do it. I can pay the 10K business ticket to go to South Africa, the 10K a month. I could make work. Right now, with what I'm making right now, I could make it work. But it's going to cost me, 10K for the business ticket, business or first class, around 10K. And it's going to cost me around 10K a month, maybe a little bit less, to stay in a beautiful Airbnb. I want to stay somewhere that's really nice, big house, and nice swimming pool, and, those things. So I'll be working there, and I'll just be enjoying the place. But right now, as much as I can kind of afford it, I can't justify it. I can't comfortably justify spending 10K on a plane ticket right now, where I'm currently at. I definitely can't justify spending 10K a month on my accommodation right now where I'm at. But by the time that we get to January, this is my heart goal. It's not about the financial goal. It's not the financial target. It's the fact that I could use that and do the things that I want to do. Travel in South Africa. I still have a car license. I'm learning right now, but when I'm out there, I need to get a car. I don't want to have a driving license. I want to be able to drive on the roads in South Africa. There's a very big difference there. I want to be able to see the country and travel, and to do that, you need a car in South Africa, which is why it's taken me all this time to get a driving license, because I don't care about the driving license. I care about the heart's goal. The goal that I've got in my heart is to travel South Africa, to fly there on a business ticket, stay in a beautiful Airbnb, to be able to drive a car and go exploring, go on a safari. These are the type of things that I want to achieve. I don't want the money side. I want what comes from the money side. And that's what you've got to start focusing on. You've got to start focusing on the heart's goal instead of the financial goal. Make it about why you're doing this in the first place. Retiring your parents, buying your parents a house, buying a Rolex for yourself as an achievement because you didn't get awards growing up for whatever reason. Whatever it may be, you've got to get deep about what that is. Make that why you're doing what you're doing. And in terms of an ego goal, a lot of you, I speak to a lot of agency owners on a daily basis, and I ask them, look, what are your targets for your agency? And they all tell me the same thing, 10K a month. And 10K a month is great if it's really your goal. But if 10K a month is not your goal, then you've got to ask yourself why you've even chose it in the first place. Did you choose it because somebody said you should? Did you choose it because somebody said when you get to 10K a month, that's when your life really changes? And I'm guilty of this because I experienced the same thing. When I got my business to around 15K a month, my agency to around 15K a month, so many doors were opening for me. And it feels amazing to get to that level, but when you get more and more and more, barely anything changes. I mean, the biggest transformation really is that 10K and 15K, but it's not for me to tell you that should be your target. It's for you to figure out why you want to achieve these things and how much you need to make. And not even about the money, as I said before, but the things that you want to achieve and the experiences that you want to have in your life. You need to really work out, are you living your goals or are you living somebody else's? If you're living somebody else's goals, when you get to it, you're just going to feel empty. You're going to feel like, hey, well, why did I do this? I don't care about it. It's not interesting to me. If you're just trying to prove a point to someone and then you get there, it's like, okay, and what? Now what? Like they're hardly going to, the person that you're proving wrong is hardly going to care anyway because it's about you. It's not about them. Make sure that your goals are about you. Make sure it's your heart goals based on what you want to achieve, and it's not about somebody else's goal. It's not somebody said you should make 10K, so then you go and make 10K. Make sure that you get very, very clear on that. Let's move on to the next stage, which is schedule. Because working with a 9 to 5 is easy. You wake up and you got to get to work at 7 a.m. or 9 to 5 at 9 o'clock. It's in the name. For me, it was 7. And that was it. You knew what time you had to start. You knew what time you'd be finishing. For me, when I get there, it was retail. So when I get there, the manager would tell me what time I'm eating my lunch, which is crazy in itself, but we'll leave that for another video. Working a 9 to 5 is easy because your schedule is already set. And you don't need to think about what you're doing each day. You just have to show up. So let me relate this back to the agency or your business with a more practical step. Because if you are struggling with this aspect, the simple answer is to create a schedule. But going more advanced than that, create the different frameworks and systems that you need so everything becomes systematic and automated. When you show up at your desk in the morning, you know the very first activity you're going to do. You know the second activity, the third, and the fourth. And breaking those activities down, when it comes to making these videos, I know what that process looks like. I know that I take about 5 to 10 minutes to think about what do I want to write about, and then I create this little document to give me some points to go through while I'm recording the video. Then I record the video, and then I create a thumbnail. I know you guys hate the thumbnails that I create, but it's not about the thumbnail, it's about the content. The point is, the process is broken down so simply for me that all I have to do is take 5 to 10 minutes to record the video, 5 to 10 minutes to plan the video, 10 to 20 minutes to record the video, 2 minutes to create a thumbnail, and another 5 minutes to just set up the rest, write the description and whatever else. And that's it. That's all I have to do. And then we get to move on to the next task. So I've made it really, really simple. And I urge you to do the same thing. Systemize as much as you can in your agency. Create systems for onboarding, for your outreach, of course, your sales. Plan out your sales. Look at what your sales funnel looks like. Look what it looks like. And make sure that you know each different steps of the system for your entire agency. Plan out systems for your fulfillment. Plan out systems for everything that you're doing and automate as much as you can. Make your work easy. Make it simple so you don't need to think about what you need to do. You just got to get up and do it. That's all. There's a little side note there. Do the tricky thing when you first start the day. There's a book called I think it's called Eat the Frog or Eat That Frog or something along those lines. But it's all about if you can get the trickiest task and put that at the very beginning of your day, then the rest of the day becomes very easy. And if your IPAs, your income producing activities, are in the morning, and those are the things that are a little bit challenging, whether that's emotionally challenging or actually challenging, if you do those at the very beginning of the day, everything else becomes a lot easier. Make sure you have a good schedule. Make sure that you set up good systems in your agency and your business, and make sure that they work for you. Next is accountability. Working a 9 to 5, you have a manager constantly telling you what to do. In jobs like retail, you are not paid to think, you're paid to complete the tasks that are set for you and don't ask questions. And personally, this is why I had to get out in the environment. I didn't feel like I was doing something of value, but there comes a benefit here because somebody tells you, you do this, 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 and this, and all you have to do is do it. But when it comes to the agency starting a new business, you're like just thrown into a random space and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. So this is the model that I recommend most people use when they are starting a new business, and especially in a new space. You've got to naturally think, what do I have to do? And we already spoke about that in the scheduling thing, but if you're really brand new to the space and you really don't know what you should be doing in the first place, you don't know how you should be doing the outreach, you don't know how to hire a contractor for your fulfillment, you don't know how to write an email template, like an email campaign, you don't know how to set up the email so it doesn't go into spam, you don't know how to do organic marketing so you attract leads, or to chat with people on Messenger to booking calls, how to sell people on the call, all of these different things that you've got to learn when you're building a business. There is a lot of it, and the worst part is you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you need to learn until you finally find out. And usually you find out because you made a mistake or because something happened that caused you to reflect and say, hey, if only I had done this differently, it would be better. So the official recommendation that I recommend, although this is biased, I will make it very clear this is biased based on my own experience, but based in 2017, from 2017 to 2020, I had my first agency running. I didn't sign any clients. In fact, I only took 2 meetings, and one of them was with a family friend. So we can say that I booked 1 meeting in total, right? But in 2020, I signed up with a one-on-one coach. He showed me everything that I had to do. I knew I had the security knowing that I had somebody there pretty much holding my hand and ready to support me and guide me in any situation that I was in. If I had an issue with outreach, I simply send him a message, say, hey bro, I'm struggling with this, can you help me out? And he would help me out. Hey bro, I don't know how to respond to this meeting request or this email to getting the meeting, could you help me out? And then I would get that. So 2017 to 2020, I was taking all of these courses, and that was great because I learned about the industry, I learned about the space. But it was 2020 that I got my first coach, and when I did so, I quit my job within 2 months. I signed 2 clients, I quit my job, and that was later in this month, it would have been 2 years ago, at the end of this month. So this happened because I started working with somebody one-on-one. Because I had somebody telling me, do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. I knew what to do. But not only that, I was getting accountability by somebody who actually knew what they were doing. I had accountability partners back in the day, but the problem that I was having is I would say, hey bro, done the things I need to do today, but I'm struggling with this. And he would say, oh yeah, me too. But when you've got a coach, you say, I've done all the things that I need to do today, but I'm struggling with this. And they say, no problem. This is how you do it. And you get the answer, and then you do it, and it's accomplished. As opposed to an accountability partner who's also new, but they don't really know what they're doing either, and they're still trying to figure it out. On the flip side, you get the accountability from your coach or your mentor, and not only that, but you also get the answers. You know what you need to do. You get answers to questions that you don't even know to ask. You just follow the process, you get on with the thing. So that's super, super important. Working a 9 to 5 also, you were held accountability knowing that you're held to be accountable, knowing that you will get fired if you don't complete what you have to or hit your sales targets, etc. This happened to me many times. Well, I didn't actually get fired, but actually no, let me tell you the story of the time I did get fired for not following instructions. I was in a new job. It was my 2nd or 3rd day. Somebody asked me, hey, can you go and help this person with something? We work in a home furnishing store. Can you go and help this person do this unpackaging and basically fill the shelves? I said, yes, no problem. I went, I did that, and I was doing that for a while, and then somebody else comes over and say, Reece, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. Do this instead. And I was like, but this person just told me to do this, so let me finish what I'm doing here, and then I'll come back. I was 16, I was naive, but at the end of the day, that made most sense to me. Work together, get the job done, and then move on to the next task. But this person came over and was like, Reece, no, you shouldn't do that, do this. And I'm like, well, communication issues. The other person told me to do this, so I'm doing it. And I got fired because I wasn't following instructions. And they straight up told me, yeah, if you can't follow instructions, you can't be here. And that's when I learned really what 9 to 5 really is all about. But when you're working retail, you're working a sales role, you're working really anything, you've got targets that you need to hit. And if you don't hit the targets, you're probably going to get fired, and you're probably going to lose that job, and you're probably not going to get paid. So those aspects make it really easy to just do the work, because you kind of have to. You don't really have a choice. And when it comes to the agency, just remember, you're working for the agency. You're doing what the agency needs you to do. The agency itself can keep you accountable, but the best way to get that is by having a coach, which kind of replaces your manager in a 9 to 5 in a certain way. A coach isn't really a manager. They more so guide you instead of manage you. But they're there if you need help, if you need support, if you need accountability, they're there for you. The last step I want to talk about is probably one of the most important, and I've left it to the end of the video because those of you that are watching the video at this point are the most committed. And this is why I want to give you this particular information, which is looking at a main job versus a side hustle. And if you are still seeing your new business, your new agency as a side hustle, it's no wonder that you're finding it tough. You have to reframe this today. From now on, you are an agency owner. You work your 9 to 5 simply as a side hustle. You do it just to get paid, but the main thing is the business that you created and you love to run, you're grateful to do it. If you're waking up every day and you're going to your 9 to 5 straight away, you're telling yourself it's the most important thing, because if we come back to the eating the frog principle, you're doing that thing first, right? As opposed to doing the agency first. I don't care if you have to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. Get up early. Do the tasks on your agency because you're grateful to do it, because the agency is what you want to do. Get up, do what you have to do in the agency, then go to your 9 to 5, because your agency is the main job and your 9 to 5 is the side hustle. Your 9 to 5 is keeping you fed, keeping your food coming in, keeping your shelter, keeping you warm, giving you clothes. That's what your 9 to 5 is doing. Your business is inspiring you, it's empowering you, it's creating an incredible version of yourself that you are going to become if you continue on the path that you're currently working on. You must realize that the agency or the business that you're building is the main thing. This is the main thing. The 9 to 5, don't worry about that when you're working on the business. It's not important. It's the side hustle. It's the thing that you don't really care about. You just do. But a lot of people, they start a business and they keep believing that their 9 to 5 is the main thing, that their business is a side hustle. It's something that you're starting on the side. And I was guilty of that myself. I would tell people, yeah, I own a business. Actually, I would tell people I own a business, but that I have a 9 to 5. And the people would say to me, oh, so you work a 9 to 5 and you've got business on the side? I'll be like, no, the business is the main thing. The 9 to 5 just keeps me going. It keeps my bills paid and keeps me being able to eat or whatever else. You guys can tell I love food, but those are the important things that I wanted to share with you in this video, and I can expand on these points much further. So if you do have something specific that you want to talk about, you can comment it down below. If you've got a particular scenario or situation that you're going through, then just feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. The links will be for that down in the description on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, the links will be in the description. Reach out to me on Facebook and IG. Tell me about your current situation. I can see how I can help you out more. And that being said, if you have made it to the end of this video and you are looking on getting more one-on-one help to actually help you out, as I said at the beginning of the video, my name is Reece. I am the founder of Agency Automation, which is my one-on-one mentorship program. It's designed for new and existing agency owners to help them grow to and then past £15,000 a month by automating and getting consistent sales meetings into their agency, automating their fulfillment and their processes. With that, we scale the business up, and it's a mentorship program. So I work with you one-on-one to make that happen. If you'd like to hear more about that and how it works and see if we could potentially be a good fit to work together, go to the description below. Check out the 25-minute demo video if you were serious. And if you would like to just have a call, if you've been watching my content for a while and you just want to go ahead and book in a call, go to the link down in the description or the first comment that says book in a call. Book in a call with me. We can have a casual chat. If we get on well and we do feel like we could work together one-on-one, then we'll go ahead and do that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you got any comments, leave them down below or send me a DM on IG and Facebook. But until then, I'll see you again in the next video.